So, you want to open a cafe, right? You're probably thinking the number one thing you need is an amazing, delicious product. But what if I told you that's actually the easy part? Today, we're going to break down the real recipe for success in the food and beverage industry. Okay, just let this one sink in for a second. I've heard this from so many successful F&B entrepreneurs. Making something delicious? That's just step one. It's the price of entry, you know? It's not the secret sauce. And thinking it is, well, that can be a fatal mistake for your business. And that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? If having a great product is the easy part of the puzzle, then what's the real secret? What separates the thousands of shops that crash and burn from the brands that become household names? Well, that is exactly what we're about to get into. Okay, first things first, we gotta change how we think about this whole industry. This isn't just a bunch of passionate chefs creating art. It's a battlefield, a super competitive market where only the smartest survive, not just the tastiest. Yeah, look at this number, 10%. A 10% compound annual growth rate is huge. It's exactly why this industry is so attractive, right? It's why everyone wants a piece of the pie. But here's the catch. That massive growth creates a tidal wave of competition. It turns a crowded market into what the experts call a bloody red ocean. Everyone's fighting for the same customers. All right, so here it is. The first real secret. The first massive hurdle that has nothing to do with taste. See, it's one thing to make a perfect cup of coffee once. It's a completely different ballgame to make that exact same perfect coffee for the 100th time in your 10th different location. And this right here, this visual just nails the jump in complexity. When it's just one location, you're the boss. You control everything. The quality, the service, the vibe, it's manageable. But the second you open another branch with a totally different team, boom, you're in what people in the biz call an operational nightmare. I mean, how do you possibly guarantee a customer in one city gets the exact same amazing experience as a customer halfway across the country? Because all of a sudden, you're not just a chef, you're a juggler. You're juggling all these variables. The vegetables from this new supplier, they might taste just a little bit different. A new hire might measure things just a tiny bit off. The oven at the new spot, it probably runs hotter. And you're dealing with stuff that goes bad. Even a change in the weather during shipping can mess up your final product. Consistency becomes this constant, exhausting battle. Okay, let's peel back another layer of this onion. Before a customer even sees your food, a huge part of the battle has already been won or lost. And it all happens in the back, in your supply chain and your warehouse. 30%. I mean, just look at that. It's a staggering number, and it sinks so many new businesses. Think about it. On average, 30% of the value of your ingredients is lost or goes bad before you even get a chance to cook with them. We're talking about stuff spoiling in transit, going bad in storage, or just being totally mismanaged. That is a massive hidden cost that's just eating away at your profit. So where's all this loss coming from? Well, get this. Almost half, 46%, of all warehouse inventory problems boil down to simple human error. That's it. Someone miscounts the stock, somebody else forgets to log a delivery, or maybe they just don't track expiration dates properly. See, when you're relying on pen and paper or some basic spreadsheet, these mistakes aren't just possible, they are basically guaranteed to happen. And this is the game changer. This is the crucial difference. The brands that successfully scale, they solve this exact problem. They ditch the manual chaos and jump onto integrated digital platforms. You think of giants like Kopi Kenangan or Menantia. They're not guessing. They have systems that give them a real-time dashboard for literally everything, from inventory to sales across every single branch. It is the only way to manage this level of complexity without going insane. Which brings us to the final and maybe the most important piece of the puzzle, the ultimate key to unlocking growth. If you want to scale, you have to build bulletproof systems. Systems that take all the guesswork and all the human mistakes out of the equation. And what am I talking about? I'm talking about the SOP, the Standard Operating Procedure. You can think of this as your business's DNA. It is a non-negotiable rulebook for every single task. I mean, every task, from how you greet a customer, to the exact gram of sugar that goes into a drink, to how you mop the floors at night. This is the magic that lets a brand like Starbucks serve the exact same latte in Tokyo as it does in Toronto. And why is this so absolutely critical? Well, it comes down to this simple truth. Machines rarely make mistakes, but people, we're prone to them. Even your best employee has a bad day. A well-designed system, a perfectly written SOP, it acts like a machine.
It does the same thing the same way every single time. It just crushes errors and guarantees that your quality is always, always there. Okay, let's just walk through how this usually plays out, right? At branch number 1, everything's perfect because you're there, you're cooking, you're controlling it all. For branch number 2, hey, maybe you get lucky and hire another amazing chef. But by the time you hit branch 3, you realize, whoa, top-tier talent is expensive. Then you try for branch 4 and 5, maybe in a totally different city, and the whole model just breaks. How do you manage suppliers from hundreds of miles away? How do you predict sales to stock your inventory? You can't solve these problems with just talented people. You absolutely need a system.
Okay, so we've laid it all out. The brutal reality of the F&B battlefield, right? The constant fight for consistency, the back-end nightmares, the absolute need for systems. So, now the question comes back to you. So, I want you to be really honest with yourself for a second. Hearing all of this, does the idea of building these complex systems actually get you excited? Or does the thought of managing inventory spreadsheets and writing rulebooks make you realize you'd really rather just stick to the cooking? And hey, there's no wrong answer here, but knowing which one of those people you are is absolutely crucial. Because here's the bottom line. This is the single most important takeaway. To succeed at scale in the food and beverage world, your job has to change. You're no longer just a great chef. You have to become a great systems builder, an architect of processes and teams that can run perfectly, even when you're not in the room. And that leaves us right here with one last big question for you. What is your true ambition? Is it to have one perfect little shop where you control every single detail? Or is it to build a nationwide brand that can be copied 100 times over? Understanding the difference between those two paths and knowing that systems are the only way to get to that second one, that is the real recipe for success.